Mark, I have a hilarious story for you.
Oh, I'm ready for this. What happened?
So I was trying to say I've been practicing my English, but instead I said I am been practicing my English.
What did your friend say?
They just stared at me for a solid 10 seconds. I tried to fix it by saying, I'm being honest about my mistakes, but they didn't buy it.
Oh, no, really? At least you weren't being boring with your mistakes. You're definitely being entertaining.
Oh, thank you. I try. Okay, let's just move on. Today's episode is all about be, been, and being. So let's get it right this time.
Hey everyone! Welcome back to Speaking English Daily Dose. I'm Sara.
And I'm Mark. We're really happy you're here with us today.
This is your daily place to relax, listen, and practice real English. No pressure, no tests. Just conversation.
Exactly. If this is your first time listening, welcome. And if you've been with us for a while, thank you for coming back again.
Before we start, a quick reminder. If you enjoy learning English through listening, stories, and friendly chats, make sure you follow or subscribe so you don't miss a new episode.
All right. Today's episode is a big one, a very important one.
Yes. Today we're talking about 3 tiny words, but wow, they cause so much confusion.
Be, been, and being.
Mark, can I tell you something embarrassing?
Oh, please do. I love embarrassing stories, especially when they're not about me.
Okay, so this happened when I was learning another language years ago. I wanted to say I'm being careful, but I used the wrong word.
Oh no, what did you say?
I accidentally said something closer to I am careful forever.
Oh wow, that sounds like it would throw someone off.
Yeah, exactly. The person I was speaking with just looked at me. Totally serious face. No smile. Long, awkward pause.
Ugh, that silence is the worst. You feel like you just disappeared.
Right? I was dying inside. Then finally they said, "So you were born careful?"
No, that's a killer line. What did you do?
What could I do? I wanted to disappear. I was just standing there thinking, I don't know what's worse, the mistake or how long this awkward pause is lasting. Honestly, I was thinking of jumping out the window and never speaking again.
I think I would have been speechless too. I mean, careful forever is such a funny way to say it. It's like you were describing yourself as a superhero or something, Captain Careful.
Exactly. But here's the funny part. It was all because I didn't understand be, been, and being. Same verb, 3 different meanings, 3 totally different feelings.
And that's exactly why we're talking about them today. I bet some of our listeners have had similar embarrassing moments, right? We've all been there, trying to figure out those little words that seem so simple but trip us up in the funniest ways.
Totally. It's not just about knowing the words, it's about knowing how and when to use them. Because trust me, if I had known the difference back then, I would have saved myself from that embarrassing moment.
So true, and that's exactly what we're going to do today. We'll help you understand these tricky little words so you can avoid the careful forever disaster. Let's get started. So today's focus is the verb be and its forms.
We're talking about be, be, been, been, and being, being.
You hear these words every day in English.
But learners often say, I understand be, but been and being, they confuse me.
Same verb, different jobs.
And once you understand those jobs, English starts to feel much clearer.
All right, let's talk about why these 3 words, be, been, and being, are so confusing for English learners.
First of all, English uses the verb be in so many ways, far more than many other languages. If you think about it, be isn't just used to describe a state of being or existence, it's also used to form other verb tenses, like the present continuous, and to give advice, express desires, or describe future actions.
Exactly. For example, you might say, I want to be a doctor, or she's running, or you should be careful. In all these sentences, be is doing something different, and that's what makes it tricky. It's not just a simple verb with one meaning, but it shows up in various situations with different intentions.
Exactly. And the second reason these words are confusing is that been and being don't translate easily into other languages. When you're learning a new language, it can be difficult to see how these words work because they don't exist the same way in other languages.
Right, in some languages, you might not have separate words for the past or present forms of be. You might just have one form, and that can make been and being feel redundant or unnecessary. Or you might have multiple ways to express the meaning of being without using a special word for it.
Exactly. For example, in some languages, you can just use the verb to have to express both present and past situations, which makes it easier to learn. But English breaks it down into three separate words that don't have an exact counterpart in other languages. It's like trying to explain the weather in English to someone who speaks a language where the concept of weather doesn't exist the same way. It can be a bit frustrating.
That's true. Now, the third reason these words confuse learners is because their meaning changes depending on time, emotion, and situation. Be, been, and being all carry a sense of timing, and timing isn't always obvious in English.
Exactly. Think about the word being. In one sentence, you might say, I'm being honest with you. And that means right now, in this moment, you're being honest. But in another situation, like I was being honest yesterday, you're talking about something that happened before but had a temporary nature. So being changes based on whether it's a temporary or permanent action.
Right, and been is just as tricky because it refers to something that happened in the past but still affects the present. For example, I've been to New York implies that even though the trip happened in the past, that experience is still relevant now.
Yes, and be itself is used to talk about desires, goals, or advice. For instance, I want to be happy, or you should be careful. Both of these sentences use be to talk about something that's yet to happen, or a way of being that the speaker hopes for.
Exactly, it all depends on the context. And that's why learning these words in isolation can be tricky. Understanding how they change based on what you want to express is what's important. But don't worry, we're going to walk through this slowly and break it down in simple, real-life conversations. No grammar lectures here.
Right. By the end of this episode, we'll have you feeling much more confident using be, been, and being. So don't stress. It's all about practice, and we're here to guide you through it with easy examples. Stay with us. Let's start with a very common use for being, polite correction.
That's right. This is a situation where you want to express your thoughts without sounding harsh or rude, and being is often the perfect choice here.
Exactly. So imagine you're talking to someone and they misunderstand you. Maybe they think you're being rude or mean, but that's not your intention at all. You want to make sure they know you're not upset or angry.
And that's when being comes in. You don't want to sound angry or defensive, so you use being to soften your response and clarify your intentions.
Right. For example, you might say, I'm just being honest. This helps you show that you're speaking truthfully, but you're not trying to hurt anyone's feelings.
Exactly. Or maybe you want to explain why you seemed a little distant or cold earlier, so you could say, I was being polite, not cold. It's a way of clarifying your behavior in a gentle way.
Yes, here, being helps show your intention behind the action, and that's important. Without it, the sentence might come across as too blunt or sharp, and the other person might feel hurt or misunderstood.
That's a great point. Without being, the sentence can feel a lot less friendly. Take these two examples.
I'm honest.
I'm being honest.
The first one sounds more like a fact, right? It's just stating that you are an honest person. That the second one feels softer, more human. It says, this is my intention right now in this moment.
Exactly. Using being in the second sentence makes it clear that you're talking about your current behavior, and it emphasizes that you're trying to communicate openly and respectfully. It makes the statement feel more thoughtful.
And think about how that can help in everyday conversations. Whether you're explaining something, offering feedback, or clearing up a misunderstanding, being helps soften your words and make your message more approachable.
So, being is not just about describing actions, it's about showing your intentions behind those actions. It's all about how you want your words to be received, and using being makes everything sound a little kinder and more considerate.
Exactly. It's all about adding that extra layer of empathy and clarity. And that's why being is such a powerful word when it comes to polite correction. You can get your point across without sounding harsh or confrontational.
Now let's talk about surprise.
Ah, yes, this one is really interesting. When we're surprised by something or when something unexpected happens, we often use been to express that feeling of discovery.
Exactly. Take this example. I've been so busy today.
Here, you're expressing surprise because the busyness wasn't planned or expected. It's a realization, something you're noticing in the moment, and you're surprised by just how busy things have turned out.
Right. The key here is that it's not just about being busy. It's about how you realize how busy you've been. The surprise comes from experiencing it and thinking, wow, I didn't expect this to be so overwhelming.
Exactly. And it's the same with the example, I've been really tired lately.
It's not just about being tired. It's about noticing that you've been tired for a while and feeling a bit surprised by it. You're thinking, wait, I didn't realize how tired I really am.
Yes, exactly. It's like, wow, I've been more tired than I thought. You didn't expect it to be such an ongoing issue, and now you're kind of discovering it in real time. It's a surprise even though it's based on something that's been happening over time.
Without been, the sentence feels flat, like you're just making a simple statement. I am tired.
Right. I am tired is just stating the fact. It doesn't carry that same sense of surprise or realization that I've been tired lately brings. With been, you're adding emotional weight to your statement, showing that you're reflecting on your tiredness and realizing just how much it's been affecting you.
Exactly. Been gives that feeling of surprise because you're talking about something that has been happening in the past, but it still surprises you now. It gives depth to your experience, and that's what makes the statement more real and human.
It's also a great way to communicate to others that you're noticing something about yourself or your situation. It's like sharing your surprise with the world. You're not just stating a fact, you're telling people how you're feeling about it.
So, using been in situations like this can really help convey the surprise in your experience. It allows you to express that wow moment when you're suddenly aware of something and it just feels bigger than a simple statement.
Exactly. It's like you're discovering something you didn't expect and you want to share that discovery with others. Without been, it just wouldn't feel as impactful. So next time you're surprised by something that's been happening, remember, been adds that layer of surprise and realization to your sentence. This one is emotional.
Yeah, when you want to emphasize that you're being truthful or honest, been or being can really help communicate that emotion. It's not just about facts, it's about trust and sincerity.
Exactly. Take this example. I've been telling the truth.
When you say that, you're not just stating that you've told the truth, you're emphasizing that you've consistently been telling the truth. It's like you're saying, believe me, I've been honest this whole time.
Yes. And by using been, you're also showing that this honesty has been ongoing. You're telling the listener, this isn't a one time thing. I've been genuine, and I want you to understand that.
Right. It's about proving your credibility over time. You're not just saying, I'm honest, you're saying, I've been honest, and that matters.
It's the same with being. For example, I'm being serious right now.
This is where it gets interesting. You're not talking about a fact, you're saying, I'm serious in this moment. And that brings a whole different level of meaning. You're asking the listener to trust you and take you seriously. And that's more about emotion than just facts.
Exactly. The difference between I am serious and I'm being serious is huge. When you say I'm being serious, it's like you're saying, right now, I want you to understand how important this is. It's about showing that your words have emotional weight and urgency in this moment.
And that's what makes being so powerful in this context. It shows the listener that you're not just stating something flatly, you're really emphasizing that you mean what you say. It's about trust.
Tone matters a lot here. Whether you're using been or being, you're communicating more than just the facts. You're showing your intention and emotional commitment.
Exactly. When we talk about truth or honesty, we're often trying to convey not just the content, but the sincerity behind it. And been and being are the perfect words to help emphasize that.
So, next time you want to emphasize your honesty or seriousness, just remember been and being will help communicate that emotional depth and trust.
This one is a very useful one, especially in sensitive situations. Polite disagreement is all about getting your point across without sounding aggressive or confrontational.
Exactly. So, instead of saying something direct, like you're wrong, which can feel very harsh, you can soften your disagreement by using being. For example, you might say, I think you're being unfair.
That sounds so much calmer, doesn't it? It's a way of expressing that you don't agree with someone, but you're not attacking them. You're just pointing out their behavior, not their entire character.
Exactly. Or another example might be, he was being too harsh. Here, you're not saying he's always harsh or that he's a harsh person. You're simply describing how he was acting at that moment. It's a much softer way to disagree.
Right. When you say he was being too harsh, you're focusing on the behavior, not labeling the person. It's a subtle way to point out that you don't agree with their actions, but you're not insulting them.
And that's the beauty of being in polite disagreement. It allows you to express your differing opinion while still maintaining a respectful tone.
Without being, it can sound like an attack. If you just said, you're too harsh or you're wrong, it's direct and can feel very confrontational. But adding being helps to soften it and makes it feel more like a discussion rather than a confrontation.
Exactly. It's all about keeping the conversation open and respectful. So, next time you need to disagree, try using being to keep things polite and constructive.
This is a little trick that native speakers use all the time, and it's super useful. It's a way to give yourself a moment to gather your thoughts while speaking.
Exactly. We often use being as a thinking pause or filler when we're trying to find the right words. For example, we might say something like, I was just being, I don't know, cautious.
See, in that sentence, being helps slow things down and gives you a bit of extra time to think. It lets the listener know that you're processing your thoughts and trying to express yourself clearly.
Right. And the cool thing is, being also softens the sentence. It's like you're not rushing to get your words out, you're allowing the conversation to flow naturally. It feels less forced and more relaxed.
Exactly. It doesn't sound like you're just stumbling over your words. Instead, it gives the impression that you're calmly thinking things through. Without being, the sentence could sound more abrupt. I was just cautious.
Yeah, that does sound a little rushed, doesn't it? But with being, it's more like you're reflecting on your behavior and sharing it in a thoughtful way.
It sounds more natural, doesn't it? Like you're having a real conversation, not just delivering a statement. And this pause allows you to express uncertainty or take a breath before finishing your thought.
Exactly. So next time you need a moment to think, don't be afraid to use being. It'll help you sound more natural and give you a little extra time to organize your thoughts before you speak. This one is powerful. When you really want to emphasize something or show sincerity, being and been can add emotional weight to your statement.
Exactly. Take this example. I'm being completely honest.
In that sentence, you're not just saying you're honest. You're emphasizing that right now, in this moment, you're being 100% truthful. It makes the honesty feel deeper, more genuine.
Yes, and you're putting more sincerity behind it. It's like you're saying, I'm not just telling you this casually, I'm serious about it. That extra layer of meaning really strengthens your message.
Another example might be, she's been amazing.
Now, you're not just saying she's amazing right now, By using been, you're saying about her amazingness isn't just a one-time thing. It's something that's been happening over time, and you're recognizing her effort or impact over a period.
Exactly. The verb adds emotional weight. It's about showing how important, serious, or sincere your statement is. It's more than just stating facts. It's about communicating your feelings and the emotional truth behind your words.
It shows sincerity. You're not just saying something lightly. When you use being or been, you're underlining that you mean what you say and that it matters. Can I share something personal?
Of course, I love hearing your stories.
All right, so years ago, a friend told me, "You're cold."
Oof, that must have hurt.
Yeah, it really did. At the time, I felt misunderstood and kind of hurt by the way they saw me. It made me feel like I was being distant on purpose, but that wasn't it at all.
I can imagine how that must have felt, being labeled like that, especially when you didn't mean it.
Exactly. But later, I explained to my friend I wasn't cold. I was being quiet because I was nervous.
Ah, that makes all the difference. That one word, being, changed everything.
It really did. Same behavior, being quiet, but using being helped explain my intention in that moment. It made my actions clear and softened the situation.
Yes, it shifted the meaning from something cold and distant to something more human, like, hey, I wasn't trying to shut you out, I was just feeling nervous.
Exactly, and that's the power of using being. It shows the emotional context behind your actions, not just the surface behavior. It adds depth to your words.
All right, let's practice. This is a great way to help you feel more confident using be, been, and being in real life situations.
I'll give a situation and Sarah will respond. Ready?
Let's do it.
Okay, here's the first one. Your coworker says you sound rude in emails.
I'm not angry, I'm just being direct.
Nice. You're clarifying your intention without sounding defensive. That's a perfect example of using being to soften the message and explain your behavior.
Glad you liked it. Your turn.
All right, here's the situation. Someone says you changed.
I've been growing.
That's a good answer. By saying I've been growing, you're showing that it's an ongoing process and that you're acknowledging the change in a positive light.
Exactly. It adds depth and explains that change is part of your journey.
Great job, Sarah. These little sentences can make a big difference in how we communicate. It's all about intention and using the right words to express how we feel.
All right, let's fix a few common mistakes that learners often make with be, been, and being. This will help you avoid confusion and make your English sound more natural.
Mistake number 1. I am been tired.
This one is a very common mistake. We tend to mix up am with been. The correct way to say it is, I have been tired.
Exactly. You need to use have or has with been to show that something happened in the past and still affects the present. So, I am been tired doesn't work because am doesn't match with been. You need to say, I have been tired to express that your tiredness is ongoing, but it started earlier.
Right. Remember, been always needs help from have or has, and it's about an experience that affects you now.
Okay, let's look at mistake number 2. I am being agree.
Ah, this one trips a lot of people up. The mistake here is using being with agree. The correct way to say this is either I agree or I'm being polite.
Exactly. The verb agree doesn't need being. It's a state of mind, and states of being don't typically use being. So you can just say, I agree, which is simple and correct. But if you're talking about a temporary action, like showing kindness, you can say, I'm being polite.
That's a great point. Keep being with actions or behaviors, not with states of mind or feelings. Being is for things that change or actions you're doing right now. For example, I'm being careful or I'm being honest.
Exactly. So if you're expressing something that's a fixed or ongoing state, like agreeing or loving something, just use the simple form, I agree or I love it.
And when it comes to being, remember, it's about temporary actions, behaviors, or situations. So avoid using being with things that don't change in the moment.
Exactly. These little adjustments will make your sentences sound much more natural.
Repeat after me. I'm being honest.
I'm being honest.
I've been busy.
I've been busy.
I don't want to be late.
I don't want to be late.
Each one feels different emotionally. Quick recap.
1. Be, basic state or future.
2. Been, past experience.
3. Being, action, intention, emotion.
It's easier than it looks.
Now we want to hear from you.
Tell us one sentence using be, been, or being.
Share it in the comments.
And if today helped you, like and share this episode.
Thanks for spending your time with us.
This was Speaking English Daily Dose.
See you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.